Hello everyone, in this chapter we will write the shader code for the outline shader. In the previous chapter, we understood that we will follow certain steps to create two different passes of the outline shader. One pass will create the outline and another pass will render the actual object with the texture or any other properties applied to it. To write the shader, we will get back to our Unity project and start creating the shader. So I have brought in this sample object on which we will be applying the outline shader, and because I have brought it in from Maya, Unity has applied the standard shader on it. In order to create our own outline shader, we will go to our shader dev folder. We will use the texture shader to create this outline shader, and it is because, as we understood, that one of the paths will be rendering our mesh with the texture, and we can use the direct code that we wrote for this shader for this particular pass. And once it has created the texture, we will go ahead and rename it as outline shader. And then we will double click this shader to open it in Mono Develop. So first thing that we will do is rename this shader. We will call it 12 outline shader. We will save it. We will go to our blackboard and start following the steps that we wrote when we understood the requirement of the outline shader. First, we will be adding two different properties in this shader. One will be the outline width and another will be the outline color. Width will control the width of the outline and color will control the color. So let's add two properties in the code. We will call them outline, and we will label it as outline, and it will be a float property, and by default its value will be 0.1. After that, we will add a property called as outline color. We will label it as outline color, and it will be a color type property, and by default its color will be 1. Let's save it. And as we have added these two properties in the property section, we will add them in the user defined section. But before we add them in the user defined section, we will create the pass, the required pass, so that we will use these user defined variables in our required pass. So the pass that exists in this shader renders the mesh with texture on it, which is exactly what we need for one of our passes. So we will copy this and paste it again to create another pass. In this pass, we will declare these two user-defined variables because that is the place where we will require it. We will remove everything else from this pass because the only two properties that we need is the underscore outline and underscore outline color. We will start declaring our user-defined variable uniform half 4. It's a color property which is outline color. And then uniform half outline, because this is a float variable and this is a color variable. In the vertex input, that means the properties that we are going to read from the mesh, we will just need the position of the vertex because that is what we will need to scale the matrix up. And in the output, we will just need the position because we are not going to use the texture coordinate, as the rendering of this pass will be in the single color. So now we have modified our vertex input and vertex output structures. Then we will go to our vertex function. So this is our vertex function. Then we saw that we will create a scale matrix and we will multiply the scale matrix with the object space vertex information that we are reading from the mesh. So this is the vertex space object information that we multiply with the MVP matrix to get the projection space matrix of this complete mesh. First we will do is we will create an outline function. This outline function will give us